What's up everybody, Anthony from Granddaddy Herbs, back again with another video. Check this out. So I wanted to have a little spot to do some filming and whatnot, like a nice little backdrop where I kind of do a lot of my intros and my videos. So I set up this little part of this room so that way I can do my introductions. So this video is going to be mainly about Blackhead, my future plans with Blackhead, and everything around that. Plus I got some new bedding in today that I'm gonna give it a shot. I've heard some good things about it from other sources, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that maybe first. That way we can get that part out of the way, and then we'll show you some of the ball pythons, and yeah, we'll go from there, guys. Stay tuned, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the bedding that I use. Currently, I'm using aspen bedding. You can get it actually many different places, but I'm using these compressed little barrels of aspen bedding, and it works really good. The only thing is that in the winter months the humidity tends to not hold so well, and another thing is if you get it too wet, it will mold extremely fast. So the pros of using aspen is you can generally get a lot for a pretty affordable price. So it's cheap, and the snakes tend to do pretty well on it. You can still spot clean on it, but again, if they get it wet, if they pee on it, it's gonna mold pretty quickly. So that's the downside to it. So again, pros, price, the amount you get for the price, and the cons is that you get it wet, it molds, you go through it pretty quick. So I just now switched over to a product from Snake Morphology. I haven't completely switched, so let me stop that right there. I'm giving it a shot, and if I like it and if it makes sense and it's affordable, I'm gonna stick with it. But it's a cocoa husk bedding, as you can see here, and you just get it. It's really compressed. You just get it wet, and you're able to expand it. I think it's 1.5 cubic feet or whatnot. So that's enough to maybe fill, I don't know, a decent size rack, complete with maybe 32 quart tubs. It's kind of a lot, but kind of not really. So the good thing is it's pretty affordable. It's not as cheap as aspen, but you should be able to spot clean a lot more using this product. So the pros with this is that it lasts longer, it looks good actually, and it holds humidity actually very well. This morning I already filled up a few tubs just to get it a quick run, and the humidity is doing fantastic. So the only downside I would say is that it's a little on the pricier side. It's semi-affordable, but if you think about in the terms of the amount you get for the price you pay, it's a little pricey. So I guess you gotta see what works for you, and also the size of your collection makes a huge difference with that. I'm not gonna get or spend too much more time on this. I know you guys are here for the snake, so let's get right into it. Alright, so first we're gonna start with this awesome Blackhead yellow belly. As you can see, it's nice and dark. Fortunately, this is one of my snakes that didn't get the best shed on this last go around, and that's why I was discussing the snake bedding, and I wanted to try something different. So he got a little bit of stuck shed on the head, whatnot, but still he looks really good. As you can see, he has a lot of dorsal blushing and a lot of reds in him, and him having yellow belly, you can see a lot of the yellow flames. If you don't know, Blackhead originally came from Ralph Davis. He produced it back in 2003, I believe, and it was super hot when it first came out. Everybody wanted Blackhead, but just like any new codom gene, it was super expensive, especially with seeing the things that Ralph Davis was doing with the Blackhead gene. I remember years ago, I really wanted the Blackhead gene. I mean, who doesn't like Blackhead? It's one of the darkest dark genes out there. The Super Blackhead is just phenomenal, and the line of Blackhead that I'm working with here on this male is a nice dark Blackhead example of Blackhead. As you can see, if you look at the alien heads, what the Blackhead does is it will highlight the alien heads with a nice thickness of black around every single alien head. Looks amazing. And of course it has the jet blacks This guy being yellow belly, you're going to get a lot of the red tones coming out of the dorsal stripe. So you would get a little bit of that with the black-headed itself, but the yellow belly really brings it out. And look at all those side orange flames on this amazing looking boy. Nice reduced pattern on one side and a nice reduced but slightly busier pattern on the other side. And what's cool about Blackhead is their tracks kind of stop on each side. I'm going to get into my next Blackhead combo that I have. Okay, so the next one I have is my female Hypo Blackhead possible ringer gene. And this girl has quite the personality on her. She is mean. She is always looking to bite. And I love her for that. She's got a great appetite. She's a nice healthy looking example of what a snake her size should look like. But yeah, as you can see with this blackhead here, just like the last blackhead, it's got nice thick black outlining on all of the alien heads. So that's again one of the characteristics of Blackhead. And then it being hypo, it's going to blush out a lot, and so you're going to see a lot of the kind of reds coming through. And the hypo meaning, you know, a reduction in black pigment. This is just a gorgeous looking female to have. And it's nice is she's actually one of my long-term projects. I want to get puzzle into this project, and eventually my end goal would be the Super Blackhead Hypo puzzle. I think that would look phenomenal because the Super Blackhead Hypo in itself is just a phenomenal looking snake. This girl, I got her from Medusa's Morphs on Morph Market. She's an awesome seller. Couldn't say enough nice things about her. So this thing, I don't know if you guys know, but common with, you know, the Mojave and the black gene is there tends to be a gene that can be attached to it called the red gene, and then there's another one called the ringer gene, and sometimes they go hand in hand. So I'm going to try to give my best explanation as to what the red gene and the ringer gene are. This girl's a possible ringer gene. She's not a red gene, but what the ringer gene tends to do is it tends to space out the alien heads a little bit. So you'll get a lot of that separation of where the alien heads look more like donut holes versus your typical alien heads, and it gaps them and throws blushings in between them. So whereas the red gene will not only throw that red hue, especially down the dorsal pattern, but it'll separate them even further. So when you see like the red gene ringer gene combo, you'll typically see a very minimal amount of alien heads or donut holes, and you'll see a big separation in between them, and you'll see a lot of blushing in between them as well. So this girl's father was actually an import from Austria. He was a Super Blackhead het for hypo, and he was a red gene ringer gene. Okay, so that's how we were lucky enough to get this girl and possibly carry those extra characteristics. But I'm gonna get into my next blackhead. So this girl primarily, she's going to be saved for hoping to hit a visual puzzle this season or maybe next season, which will give me plenty of time to get her to size and hopefully get a visual puzzle in time. If I don't get one within the next year or two, I will probably just save the money, bite the bullet, and buy a visual puzzle male because I want to get the project sped up. Okay, so next snake is another Blackhead Hypo, but this one is a red gene. As you can see with this one, she has a lot more of the reddish hues coming out, especially on her head and the upper half of her body. So that's the red gene playing that influence, and just like the other one, if you look at the alien heads or the donut holes, you'll see a nice thick black outline on it. That's your typical trademark for Blackhead. You'll see it especially in the Mojave blackheads. With night and day, you'll see those donut holes are just completely outlined. And again, this one has the hypo gene, so it's a recessive gene, and it's just an amazing combo. This snake here I actually have reserved for a male that I have. Not a lot of people know I have. I don't show him too often is because he's not the best eater, but it looked like he just picked his appetite back up over the last 2 weeks, so maybe we'll get somewhere with it. But let me grab that male. So this is my male, black pastel, yellow belly, special, Mojave, 100% Het 4 hypo. So my plan, of course, is to get the black pastel and the blackhead combined with hypo. But not only that, I really want to get a blackhead special hypo. I think that would look awesome. I think just a blackhead special in itself is gonna look amazing. I've never seen one, but I can just tell it's gonna be amazing. Fortunately with this guy, him being a really bright colored snake, I feed live and I monitor as best as I can, but sometimes I may not catch in time that the rat may bite the snake, and so I use my feeding tongs and I monitor it, and I basically guard the rat's mouth from biting the snake. But as you can see, sometimes they get little bites, and that'll all come off with the next shed. So not a big deal if you're noticing that. But this snake is absolutely gorgeous. So he is a crystal, meaning a special Mojave, but he's also got a layer of black pastel, and that's why his head is so dark and he's got those turquoise eyes. And then he does have yellow belly, which is bringing up the side pattern to be a little bit more kind of white, but not only white, you can see a break in between all that white, that it's just colored with yellow. But there's so much potential with this. So him being a crystal, it's an Axe-like super, I believe. Actually, you know what? I do think it is an Axe-like super. I don't think a Mojave, yeah, it's an Axe-like super. So meaning just from him alone, every baby will contain either special or Mojave. So I won't be able to get another crystal out of this pairing. So, but the good thing is that I can get a blackhead, black pastel, special, yellow belly, hypo, or swap out the special with Mojave, and I could get that as the best outcome, which would be super. Just, I mean, the combos are just endless. Her being hypo, 50% of the babies statistically should be hypo with this pairing here. So I originally wasn't going to grab this female, but I thought about it and I asked Medusa's Morphs, you know, how much for the additional female, and she made me a deal I couldn't refuse. So I just had to take it. So this is going to be, you know, one of the future pairings, you know, unless things change. You know how it goes with these ball pythons, so things can change. As an added bonus to this video, I'm going to show you a pickup that I got at the Pomona Reptile Expo that I haven't shown off yet. So a lot of you don't know unless you follow me on Instagram. I did a recent post, so let me show them off for you guys. Alright guys, so I got this guy from my buddy Javier at JRG Reptiles, and this guy is a pinstripe GHI. So I knew I wanted to get a GHI in my collection for quite some time. I just didn't pull the trigger on it because I'm one of those where I try to be real with myself when I think about future projects, and certain codom genes, you know, at least I'm at a point in my collection where there needs to be some sort of investment aspect to what I buy. That way I can continue to grow. GHI being a codom, and it's been out for quite some time, it's definitely depreciated in its value. So it kept me away from it, and that's why for the longest time I didn't get Orange Dream, because same thing, I saw the prices on that thing just plummet. But I saw this male and I started thinking about the potential, and I have a lot of things lined up that I can see the potentials there. So already I'm thinking of the investment aspect of it, and already there is plans that I can use them for. I mean, I have a female butter that hasn't laid eggs for me in 3 years, and I've held her off because I didn't know what to put to her, you know. So I was thinking with him, I was like, this would be the perfect male because who doesn't love GHI lessers? Or even better, a GHI kingpin. So, you know, I thought about that project. I've got my Pastel Karma, which is a Mystic lesser pastel. She's a Pastel Karma, so she's a Mystic pastel lesser. And how cool would it be to get Pastel Mystic GHIs? I think that would be rad. Or, you know, Pastel lesser GHIs. And then you just throw a pinstripe on top, and that would just be phenomenal. So I've got a couple other projects, looking to maybe get some stuff to hold back for some Blackhead stuff in the future, maybe some other recessive stuff, you know, we'll see. But he's definitely a male I can use, and I'm definitely so happy to have him. Thanks, Javier, truly appreciate this snake. But that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I know it was a long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Tell me what you think about this background. If you want to see more videos where I'm pulling out snakes and I'm showing them here on this tabletop. It's actually not a tabletop. It's actually the top of 2 of my reptile enclosures, so it works out perfect. So I needed a nice lit up spot where I can show off some rad reptiles. So as always, guys, Anthony from Granddaddy Herps. If you can, please hit the like button. Please support me by hitting the subscribe button. Check me out on Instagram, on Patreon and Facebook, and look forward to, you know, chatting and communicating with you guys. Hit me up on Facebook. Let's chat it up. Let's grow together, guys. As always, Anthony from Granddaddy Herps. Peace.